Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I love the music.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome to Divine Love Talk. I am Dr. Parthenia, and once again, we have our lovely co-host, Dr. Sarah Larsen, here today.
Hello.
And hello, world. And we've got Kim Michaels joining us from Estonia. He is our expert on the ego and spirituality. And we have
Brian Reeves, founder of Managing the Magic and executive committee member of GATE,
Yay.
the Global Alliance of Transformational Entertainment.
Ooh.
And today, I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about merging the worlds of entertainment and spirituality. Kim Michaels, what do you think about that? Entertainment and spirituality. That's a challenge in terms of reaching.
Great idea.
I love it. Okay. Because we got to reach the masses. You know, we've been marginalized for a long time. And Kim, I wanted to start you out on the discussion because we have officially entered the Aquarian age. And what I saw this weekend at GATE, say again what it stands for.
Global Alliance for Transformational Entertainment. And it's a group of people that came together. Hollywood. To
film producers and artists and writers.
To educate all of those.
That's right. You know, the thing that I love most about GATE is that it's really, and I love this word, grounded. Mm-hmm. It's a grounded group of professional visionaries.
Visionaries, that's the word. Yes.
Grounded visionaries. And that's, so that this is with people on their feet on the ground doing amazing work in the entertainment industry and Hollywood, but they have with a sensibility about the world, with a spirituality that's not in your face. This is about really making good entertainment.
Yes.
With a message, but not, we can launch. I'm about ready to just launch into this baby. Yeah. So that
go right ahead.
Well, that's the thing, talking about entertainment and, merging spirituality and entertainment. And as we were talking a little bit earlier, all entertainment on some level is transformational.
It should be, I think.
Well, and if it's entertainment, it must be, because it takes you from one place to another.
Yeah.
Transformation is about going from one place to another. But what happens is a lot of the current entertainment doesn't take us anywhere. It just marinates us in what already hurts.
Yes.
In the victim consciousness and the victim stories, right? Just reinforcing old paradigm ideas. Old ideas about you did this to me and I'm going to get you back.
Right.
Or I'm nothing without you. You complete me. All these stories of lack and separation, codependency. So, what GATE is really about is about educating Hollywood and professionals and everyone in the entertainment industry, bringing the spirit of human storytelling for the purpose of our growth and our evolution and our joy on this planet and celebration of life, bringing that back into storytelling so that we can both be entertained and truly transformed.
And then there was a point that was made about storytelling, and it was so poignant and true, that if you tell a story, people remember it for life and it can transform their lives.
Yeah, very interesting. Last year at our GATE event there was a gentleman, I think it was a professor at one of the universities here, talking about, he did a research project looking at how do people, if let's say, if you do a documentary film versus a feature film, which is telling a story, a narrative, how do people better soak up the information? And he found that people remember more what your message is through the story, through the feature film. His name was Jeremy Kagan, versus the documentary. In documentary films, there's people, I think, are more being lectured and being spoken to in kind of an intellectual capacity versus really entertained in an embodied way, where, when you're at the movies, it's same with if you see an artist, we've all seen artists that that, you know, okay, we're listening to the music or we're watching the film and we're kind of aware of time. It's like, man, how long is this going to go?
Right.
How much, you know, is this almost over?
Yeah.
And then there's those performers, there's those movies where time just disappears.
Yes, because you're engaged in
You
the
are
story.
engaged. It is an embodied, it is wrapping itself around you. The art form of it is so resonant with your being that you're totally being, you're gone. You sort of intellectually, you are bought into the art. You are fully immersed. And it's within that experience that the human being really gives themselves to the message, to the story, to whatever's taking place.
So you were making a point right before the show about how a lot of the documentaries just don't.
That's a very nice way to put it.
They missed the mark.
I have other words that I use at times.
Okay,
we'll stay in the positive sense of
missed
language.
The mark. And so how would you vision where, because this is a huge movement, and what I saw on Saturday really lifted me up and gave me hope. And then the interfaith, what's it called? The World Interfaith Harmony Film Festival that's coming up the 6th through the 10th. There's a lot of good films that are coming up, and I am interested to see how they're going to present them. But what's your vision as to where it's a fledgling new industry?
You know, I look at it like 15, 20 years ago, Christian music was terrible. It was awful. It was cheesy. It was just, you know, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus loves you. And, you know, it was just kind of let me bang you over the head with my message. And I won't worry about the music too much.
It was too in your face.
It was, and it just was, the music wasn't good. It wasn't really attuned to what the mainstream was listening. It was for its little niche market of Christian music. Nowadays, if you stumble upon the Christian music channel, you know, at 88.1 on the FM dial, you can't tell the difference from regular pop music.
They figured it out.
You know, and it has exploded as an industry.
Yes.
So I look at the spiritual entertainment movement. We're kind of in the place where early Christian music was, where it was just,
I agree.
You know, because we're more concerned with, we just got to get the message out. You know, the art form, the craft of it, that can take a back seat. Let's just say what we got to say, and we'll do it as good as we can. But now, again, you know, now we're seeing artists that are converging their art, their true craft, with the messages that they're waking up to, because that's what's happening. You know, you have a guy like Mickey Willis, who was the founder of Elevate Films.
Yeah.
He was doing music videos for Alanis Morissette, you know, a lot of big-time artists making $20,000, $50,000 a video. And then he was at 9/11. He actually helped remove rubble during the 9/11 experience. And that totally transformed his outlook.
And the result was what?
And the result was now art. His video work is just, he actually directed one of my artists' music videos, Ash Ruiz. And we went to him because Mickey, he has a beautiful aesthetic. His eye, I love what he does as a director. And he woke up to a deeper truth in himself, and so it comes through in his art.
Got it. I know.
It's so beautiful to watch some of his videos with the luminaries, and they highlight.
I love the luminaries.
The scientists that are making a difference. Free Energy is one of their songs, and it's so beautiful. One of the things that I love as human beings, we absorb and become a accumulation of all the events, all the people, all the movies, all the entertainment that we've seen.
And the readings.
All the readings. It lodges into our subconscious at some level. And one of the most important things that I want to share with anyone that's making art and film is we allow that to connect to our hearts.
Yes.
And I have relatives in Pakistan that have never been in conversation with someone that they're not related to.
Wow.
But they will let movies in.
Okay,
They will let movies in. And those are conversations that they get to have an experience with themselves.
Right.
And there are people all over the world that will
that are connected through music.
That are connected through music, connected through movies. We wound up in the U.S. partly due to Elvis movies.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, when I was in Hong Kong and Singapore and visiting Vietnam, the music, I was talking to all the people there, and we talked through music. You know, I was on this place called the Top of the World in Hong Kong, and I heard this band playing Motown, and they were singing it live, and I thought, Americans are here. And I go and look, and they cannot speak any English, but they could sing Motown like nobody. So there is that power within music.
And let me tell you, look, you know, everybody's doing a meditation CD these days. I've got nothing against it, but honestly, I don't. I only have so much space in my place for it. That's all. I just put it like that.
So you're saying there's room for a little artistic creativity there?
I'm saying, you know, expand the repertoire a little bit. You know, if another crystal ball and crystal balls are great, but I only need one of those CDs. I don't need 20.
Well, you are listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN, and today we are talking about merging the worlds of entertainment and spirituality. Now, I want to bring Kim Michaels in on the discussion because we're talking about storytelling. And when you look at the great spiritual teachers, they have always used parables and stories. And their lives and the stories that they told thousands of years ago, we're still repeating them because of the stories. And Kim, you've been listening to us go on, and I know you have something that you can interject on the spiritual aspect of this.
Yes, and you know what hits me is that, as you said yourself, in the old days, they knew the importance of storytelling, and they really tried to tell spirituality through stories. But I think what has happened in the modern world is something we don't realize, even as spiritual people, is how much we have actually been affected by this rational, intellectual, linear mindset that's a consequence of science. I actually heard a couple of years ago, you know, the British author Karen Armstrong has written quite a number of books, and she wrote a book recently called A Case for God, which I just read not very long ago, and it's a very scholarly book, but it's very well documented and researched. And I actually heard her one time on Larry King, I think it was, make the point that Christian fundamentalism, which we normally consider anti-science, is actually a consequence of the scientific mindset, because they are applying the scientific mindset to the Bible, meaning that the Bible has to be literally true and there's only one way to interpret it.
Of course.
But before the scientific mindset, nobody interpreted spiritual texts that way.
Right. They were not literal.
Nobody said there's only one truth and there's only one way to interpret it. So when people heard a story like the Odyssey, there could be many different ways to interpret what that means.
Yes, and I
think really one of them.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, one of the problems we have in the spiritual or New Age movement, whatever you want to call it today, is that we are still so trapped or affected by this linear mindset.
Yes.
That there has to be one objective truth floating around out there, which means there has to be one organization that's the highest one.
Yes.
There has to be one guru that has it right and all the others have it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think as long as we're trapped in that mindset, we can't really blend spirituality and entertainment, because I think entertainment and storytelling, there's got to be room for more than one interpretation. It's just absolutely essential.
And you know, we're trying to do that, and that's what I saw this weekend, and hopefully we're going to see lots more of this week at the World Interfaith Harmony Film Festival at the Skirball Center and at the Iman Center on Saturday and Sunday. You are listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN with Dr. Parthenia Grant and my co-host, the lovely Dr. Sarah Larsen at DrSarahLarsen.com, and Kim Michaels, our expert on spirituality at TranscendenceToolbox.com. And what is your website, quickly?
My website is ManagingTheMagic.com.
Ooh, love that. Okay, and it's Brian Reeves with ManagingTheMagic.com. More of Divine Love Talk in a minute. You are back listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN with the Divine, Dr. Sarah Larsen. at drsarahlarsen.com, and our amazing expert on the ego and spirituality, Kim Michaels, joining us from Estonia at transcendencetoolbox.com. And we've got Brian Reeves and your
managingthemagic.com.
Love the name of that.
Yes.
And today we are talking about merging the worlds of entertainment and spirituality, and we're sharing some of the magic that we picked up at this
festival
this weekend
event. It was so beautiful. Global Alliance of Transformational Entertainment. And you can go to their Gate
their website
3. They have a great website.
The website's gatecommunity.org.
GATE community.org. Yes, we want to.
And a lot of people from around the world joined to watch. Founding members, Eckhart Tolle is one of the founding members. Jim Carrey is, and John Reeves.
Yes.
And it's their vision of bringing great stories to the screen.
And Jim Carrey was there.
Jim Carrey was so beautiful.
And we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the hour.
Yes, Tom Shadyac.
And who was he?
Tom Shadyac made movies like Ace Ventura and Bruce Almighty and Liar Liar.
I remember the movies, but not who made them.
And he made this very beautiful self-revealing story called I Am.
Yes.
That was just so beautiful and shared the importance of his experience with healthcare, what he went through, and the transformation of how everything is connected.
And Donald Trump's ex was there,
Marla Maples, Dr. Beckwith. Michael Beckwith was there as well.
And that's what I think is really relevant, is that there's a lot of people in Hollywood, in entertainment.
Movers and shakers.
And shakers that, again, they care about the world in a deeper way. And
and that congressman, what was his name?
Tim Ryan.
Who is the what congressman?
I call him the meditating congressman. I hope that doesn't affect his re-election opportunities.
Well, we got to get behind him.
We got to get behind that, though. That's right.
Bringing meditation to classrooms, and he was
bringing mindfulness and awareness. Right.
What a concept!
Yes.
What a concept!
Well, Kim, what do you think about that? Bringing meditation into the classrooms with all this violence in America in the classrooms.
Well, there's no doubt it's a good idea. I've been saying before on the show that the biggest lack in our present culture is we don't teach children about the mind. It's the one thing we all need to know how to use, the power of the mind and how it works, and how to avoid being trapped in these dysfunctional and emotional patterns, so that every generation repeats the same dysfunctional patterns as the previous one.
That is
that's how the sins of their fathers are inherited to the third and fourth generation, is through this psychological patterns that we just keep repeating,
Absolutely.
And I think it's great. Anything that breaks that is just wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Paul Hawken was really the artist. He was really showing the sins of the past that we've committed.
Is that the one who was about the birds and
the environment?
No, that was Chris Jordan.
Oh,
Chris Jordan.
But Paul Hawkins actually, he did say something that I thought very interesting. And I know this is a short segment. I'd like to talk about Chris in the next one, because I think he really, as an artist, merging awareness and art, I think he deserves some attention.
Yeah, the symbolism.
But Paul Hawkins said something interesting. He's talking about the meditating congressman. Paul Hawkins was telling the story about how, as a child, he just instinctively knew it just wasn't right to stick children inside in the middle of the day all day long.
Hello. And Krishnamurti, who was a forerunner in holistic teaching and learning, and Maria Montessori, they were huge advocates about kids being able to get up and move around and be in nature and holistic learning. And they just threw that out of the window.
Right?
In our educational system.
Kids, they're so good at entertaining themselves. They're like self-entertained for the most part.
All we have to do is just make the environment safe for them.
And guide them and give them guidance.
And they
but not
learn through play.
Exactly, but we stick them in rows and inside of boxes.
And say, shut up,
and
give
don't
them
move. Pills and all. I mean,
we destroy their creativity and their connection to all living beings. And meditation is one of the ways to bring that back. And getting out of classrooms and into the environment.
And it's no wonder then that creativity becomes a vehicle only to make money. and not to truly make a difference.
That's a real tragedy. When we can't see the importance of us really just teaching children how to love and how to be. And
each person going out and creating something every day, whether it's a beautiful meal and seeing that as the art that they're creating.
And appreciating that.
Or the art of conversation and connecting.
We will be back with more on merging the worlds of entertainment and spirituality with Brian Reeves, your organization again.
Kate, Global Alliance for Transformational Entertainment.
And more of Kim Michaels from Transformational Toolbox and Dr. Sarah Larsen at drsarahlarsen.com. And you can go to drparthenia.com and get all of the podcasts from Divine Love Talk. Back in a minute with more of Divine Love Talk on CRN. All right, you're back with more of Divine Love Talk on CRN with Dr. Parthenia. And you can find all of our podcasts at drparthenia.com. We're on Facebook under Divine Love Talk. And we've got the Divine Dr. Sarah Larsen with drsarahlarsen.com. We've got Brian Reeves with
managingthemagic.com.
And we've got in Estonia, joining us via Skype, the incredible Kim Michaels with Transcendence Toolbox. Kim, let me start out. We've got a lot we want to cover in this segment, but let me start out with you. I'm going to go back to I feel that I actually feel a transition. You know, we made it through 2012. Yes. We're into 2013. We're in a new millennium. We're officially in what is, you know, has been named the golden age of Aquarius. Even though we look around us, we see a lot of darkness. We see a lot of chaos. We see a lot of craziness. We see backlash from the dark, you know, the old status quo that doesn't want the new to come in. But I see hope. And this weekend, seeing all of these visionaries in one place, these movers and shakers, you know, the World Interfaith Harmony Film Festival coming up. I'm so excited, you know, to be a part of that and to be promoting that. How are you, what's your pulse on this about where we are right now? And should I really be hopeful? I mean, help me out here.
I think you should, and I think all of us should. I think 2012 was kind of to me, it was the last gasp of the really big gasp of the fear-based approach to religion and spirituality. Because I think what we were dealing with in the age of Pisces was very much that fear was such an integral part of basically all three monotheistic religions,
yes.
But in the Western world, especially Christianity, you know, we were just so scared off by hell and brimstone
yes.
and fire and eternal punishment that was the main motivation for being religious. And that just doesn't work in Aquarius, because Aquarius is a love-based. And so I think what's actually happening right now is that because the change has started to happen, it's almost like if you take a room that's in complete darkness, you can't see anything. And then there comes a period where you have a twilight, where everything is kind of gray and there's really no contrast.
Right.
But then as the light increases, what starts happening is the contrast between shaded areas and lighted areas becomes greater. And that's what we're going through right now. So we see a lot of manifestations that are still the old fear-based approach. I mean, why are people fighting in Syria?
Yeah.
Why are they fighting everywhere? It's fear. And so what happens is that as the light increases, people have to become more and more extreme in their expressions of the old views in order to hold on to them.
The backlash.
And that's why I think we are going through some turbulent times, and there will be still some turbulent years, but we have definitely turned the corner. I don't believe there is anything that can reverse the upward trend. So I think there's a lot of reason to have hope.
Thank you, because I am definitely feeling that. I'm holding on to that. And that is what I'm all about here at Divine Love Talk, is promoting the love and the vision.
Well,
and go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I met so many people where if you say to them, you're being pessimistic, aren't you? And the standard answer is, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
But the fact is that in today's age, if you are a realist, you have to be an optimist.
I agree.
Because that's just, we are in a new age.
I like
well,
that.
every story of transformation involves going through the shadow.
Yeah, the
time.
dark.
It goes.
Yes.
The dark night of the soul.
That's the story arc.
Yeah.
You go through the darkness. You know, the guy loses the girl.
Yeah.
Before he gets her back. You know, and
transformation happens with exposing and connecting with the shadows,
Yes.
with the dark part. It's the cracking or the pain that allows us to really feel and connect and value life and those relationships and those experiences. And it's connecting with the lead or someone on the screen or part of the art or part of the song, feeling yourself in that allows you to open up, to go through the changes that a person on the screen or in a song or in a piece of art goes through.
And reach that catharsis. And I know I want you to offer our young visionaries today who want to be a part of this transformation through art and film. What advice would you give them?
Well, the number one thing is, again, if you put positive, great messages inside of bad entertainment, no one's going to watch it. So
if it's poorly edited,
edited, I mean, look, in the YouTube culture,
and poorly written.
Yeah, if it's just poorly done. I mean, it doesn't mean that it has to have a big budget. It's not about money, but it is about your ingenuity and your dedication to the craft.
And originality. How about that?
Sure. Originality. We want to see, you know, it's funny though that there are only, I think I remember reading something. There's like, right. There's only 30 or 100, whatever it is, different actual stories that we can tell.
And then we tell them over and over and over in different ways.
In different ways.
But they're universal.
Well, and as technology improves, there's different ways that we can tell it. It really is infinite. But that is the number one thing, is continue to work on your craft. Do not give up thinking that you can skimp on the art because you have something important to say. If you have something important to say but the art's terrible, no one's going to hear you.
Yes.
Well, also, let me just add to that, because I know you have some other points. One of the things that I learned in graduate school, like if you're working on a dissertation, that you must make an original contribution to your field. And a cogent point to add to what you're making is that, and I think maybe a lot of young filmmakers are not doing this, is that you've got to go back and research all of the other films on the same topic and the same theme that you're talking about, and look at what has already been done, what they've already said, how they've done it, and then you got to look at, okay, well, that's already been done and said in that way, and how can I approach this topic from a fresh perspective that's adding an original contribution to that field? Because I know as an author, when I'm, whenever I'm getting ready to publish a book, my publisher and their distributors want to know, well, what's your competition? Who's out there? What are they doing, and what has already been done, and what makes yours different? Why should we put money behind you? Why should we promote you? And those are just, I think, very simple, very cogent questions. So I know you have some other points.
Absolutely. Yes. So number one, work on your craft. Number two is simply being endlessly curious. I mean, this is the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is inquiry. There are no...
And yours is valid. Your journey, everybody's journey is valid.
It is valid for you. Yes, absolutely. It is being endlessly curious, asking the questions, going within, finding your truth.
Yes.
What is true for you? Not what is your parents' truths, not living out society's truths, not living out the things that...
And trying to please people.
Exactly, because the world's trying to tell us to be all these different ways that don't fit.
Yes.
So, be endlessly curious, ask the questions, live the questions, to quote Rainer Maria Rilke, live the questions. And then the third one is be true to that voice.
Wow. And that's so hard not to sell out, because, sometimes you have, and often young people will have these original ideas. And I also teach a creative writing class on campus, and they'll have brilliant ideas. And the worst thing they can do is take it home to their family or their friends who are not creative, who don't know anything about the concept.
Inside the box,
and they're inside the box, and they'll go, oh, that's stupid. I mean, what is wrong with you? I mean, nobody's going to listen to that.
I tell you, one of the most exciting things that I see happening right now, there's a young rap artist named Macklemore. And again, talk about being outside of the box of spirituality. He's a hip hop artist. He's charting on iTunes. He's amazing. He's an independent artist. But what he did that I'm just so tickled about, he did a rap song about gay marriage. and
Yes.
about love between gay people. And this is hip hop, mind you. This is rap, an
Yeah.
incredibly homophobic genre of music and culture.
So how did he do it differently?
Well, he just came out and said, this is a song about that I support and I affirm the right of two gay people to love each other and be married if they want to. And
Yes.
the thing is, you look on it, it's a YouTube video, he's got millions of views. There's a conversation happening. A lot of
Okay.
people are coming out in
Yes.
support. This is transformational because this is something, talk about being true to his voice. This is his truth speaking. He is not speaking the popular cultural, that could get him kicked out of hip hop back in the day.
And the Gandhis and the Steve Jobs of our
Yes.
times
Yeah.
really took a path that had no trail. They
Right.
created
They trailblazed.
and each person, if they truly believe in their voice and are endlessly curious and constantly asking questions of themselves and the people around them, they are able to create and hold an idea to fruition.
Well,
being
and
the
the-
architects of their own lives.
Well, and the hardest part of a creative writing class is getting the students to understand that they do have a voice and
Yes.
to actually allow that voice to emerge and speak and honor that voice because
Yes.
they're so afraid that other people are going to judge them and they're so afraid that other people aren't going to like their baby. Somebody's going to call their creation ugly.
Yes.
Or inappropriate, and it's really just about allowing yourself to give birth.
And to me today, I feel be willing to die for it.
Yes,
To sow what you believe in,
That's
your
what
true
courage
voice,
is
your
about.
craft.
Yeah.
That endless. Be willing to die for what you stand for.
Yeah, for your belief.
For your belief and
That's
what you're
true
working
integrity.
on. That's
Yes.
true. Yes, and there's also very important parts of. You came in with a purpose that's unique to you.
And most young people have no clue
Yes.
that they're so unique. I say to them, now, come on, guys, look, in the same way that there's not one snowflake that's the same, not one of us have the same fingerprint.
Fingerprints, eyes,
So why
or
do you act
voice.
like you're not amazing, you're not
Yes.
incredible, you're not unique, and that you're not important to the fabric of society and the fabric of the world? And what makes you think you don't have something grand?
Well,
to
and I
contribute?
like to go even bigger scale. We descended from the stars.
Hello.
We are
Yes.
conscious stardust. I mean, who are we to say that we are not already whole and brilliant and
Yes.
amazing
And perfect and
We came
complete.
from the stars, for God's sake.
Well,
Yes.
Right?
I want to bring Kim in on that one, on our greatness and our God self and our magnificence.
Well, I just want to go back to something Brian said earlier about there are only so many stories to tell. But the thing is, we collectively are engaged in a process of raising our consciousness.
Yes.
And as we raise our consciousness, we can actually grasp stories that could not be grasped with the old consciousness.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I have for the past 35 years been engaged in studying this phenomenon, which we
have.
might call progressive revelation,
Yes.
where we are being given new and more advanced truth that we simply couldn't grasp a generation or 10 generations ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have one of my books called Master Keys to Spiritual Freedom, which gives a completely new story of how we have fallen into a lower state of consciousness and why that happened, why there's evil in the world, where it came from. And I believe there are many other revelations that are being taken by other people from a higher realm, from a higher level of consciousness, however you want to see it. But we are actually receiving new stories all the time. And it's really just a matter of people in the entertainment industry tuning into this and seeing what's out there and then crafting a story around this.
Well, Kim, thank you for mentioning that, because I did read that book and it was so liberating for me, because it filled in the gaps of, a lifetime of a spiritual journey and a spiritual quest for me with every religion in the world. Being a real student of Joseph Campbell, I've studied everything and I wasn't getting the answers. There were so many missing pieces to that. And that book of yours, among other books, I was just like, thank the universe.
Yes.
Okay, I knew there were answers out there, and they resonated. And you're so right. You know, there are these stories that have not been told that you are telling, and people like you are telling, and they need to be shared on a quantum level.
Yes.
I believe.
And as a medical doctor practicing palmistry,
How about that?
that's-
You are so out of the box.
It's one of those things that it's so about connecting back into purpose. Each person, when they hear through different means, whether it's tuning into themselves, it's never outside yourself.
Right.
And your palms, or sitting down and connecting with someone that's living the life
Yes.
that you're willing to create for
And
yourself.
Kabbalah, it's ancient. It teaches that in the
Yes.
Zohar and the Kabbalah. I mean, and today it's just the status quo. I mean, they're like, you know, that's the devil.
We worship the mind. We
Yes.
worship the brain.
Yes.
We worship the thoughts. We've
Yeah.
lost connection to our bodies, to the earth. That's why we're so sick. That's why the
Yes.
planet is full of plastic.
Yeah, hello.
You know, and in fact, on that note, I'd like to talk
Yes.
about Chris Jordan.
Yes.
He was the last
The
speaker
artist.
at the event this weekend. Chris Jordan, talk about an artist who is true to his craft.
Wow.
Endlessly curious and speaking true to his voice, what's coming through him. Chris Jordan, and everyone must see his work.
I know.
ChrisJordan.com.
I was crying.
Yes.
Here's an artist who
Yes.
he is what I love about what he's doing. When I went to see him speak before, and we saw the video. Well, you saw it
Yes.
at Gate.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the Pacific Islands.
Yes.
Where we've got literally
this
a
trash
small
and
continent
plastic.
of trash and
Yes.
plastic floating in the ocean.
And these beautiful
and
birds.
these beautiful albatross birds are dying by the thousands
Yes.
because their mothers are feeding the babies plastic. And
Thinking
Chris,
it's food.
but you know, Chris is not just doing a documentary to let
Right.
us know what's going
Yes.
on. He is using beautiful art, his photography and filmmaking.
And compassion.
It's gorgeous, though. It's gorgeous, juxtaposing tragedy and beauty.
Yes.
It really moves you in an embodied way that's beyond just your thinking
Yes.
rational
But he's
mind
also
about it.
using sacred geometry and numbers. It was
Yeah.
so like huge. Like
It's
he would go
amazing.
from the
Yes.
macrocosm to he would go from the microcosm to the big macro. Oh my God, this has gone so fast.
ChrisJordan.com.
ChrisJordan.com.
Yes.
Okay, and I want to encourage you guys to check out WorldInterfaithHarmonyFilmFestival.com and join us Wednesday through Saturday at the Skirball Center
Yes.
and the Aman Center for these amazing progressive films. You're listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN, and we've just had a delightful time talking
thank
about
you.
merging the world of entertainment and spirituality.
Yes.
We'll be back after commercial break to sum this up.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really?
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-704-6182, 800-704-6182.
Ba, ba, black sheep, have you any wool? No, sir, no, sir. Some nincompoop with pantyhose pulled over his face stole all my wool sweaters and gaming system. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency recently helped me with renter's insurance. Everything stolen was replaced, and the little boy who lives down the lane was caught trying to sell it online. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
Homeowners, in today's world, no neighborhood is immune from burglaries. So call Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer. Get your free security system with free activation and free hardware. You pay for just a $99 installation fee and monitoring services. Call right now and you'll also get 6 door and window sensors for free. Call right now. 1-866-669-8954. That's 866-669-8954. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $36.99 per month. Total cost $1331.64. Payment by credit card or electronic bank account charge. For new homeowner customers with satisfactory credit history only. Local permit fees may be required. Certain restrictions may apply. Cannot be combined with any other offer. License numbers CAACO 6320, KY City of Louisville 483, and FLEC1 300 3427. Call for additional numbers. Total package includes 6-door window sensors. Call now. 1-866-669-8954. 866-669-8954.
Hi, I'm Nancy Minetti. Tune in to CRN4, Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 6 a.m. to catch the weekend edition of The Minetti Show. We interview Dream Doctor, Dr. Carl Petrasso. Then on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, we'll interview singer and actress Anna Maria Alberghetti. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Real Larry Minetti. Aloha, friends.
We're wrapping up this segment on Divine Love Talk on CRN with Dr. Parthenia Grant at drparthenia.com and Dr. Sarah Larsen at drsarahlarsen.com and Kim Michaels at transcendencetoolbox.com. Brian Reeves at
managingthemagic.com.
Okay, and we've had such a wonderful time today, and I feel so blessed to be a part of merging the worlds of entertainment and spirituality, because working in an institution of higher learning that is so xenophobic and full of fear of anything that is foreign or different from the status quo, that marginalizes critical thinking and free thought and creativity, it's just so refreshing to move out of that and into the world that we shared this weekend. And it just serves to de-stress me. And I feel so blessed to be surrounded by people like you guys. And just to know what was really good for me was the camaraderie and to be able to feel free to be myself, my authentic self, around other people who were free to be their authentic selves, you know, versus inside of this little box where you got to fit into some kind of little bitty paradigm that isn't even valid anymore.
And I think it's so important to be on the cutting edge of yourself. What makes you a little bit uncomfortable is expanding
Makes you grow.
Sharing a part of yourself or a part of your story that you normally would hide away, the shadow of yourself. Make efforts to share that in a way that contributes to the person that's listening, and allow yourself to receive back. Imagining there is nothing but this beautiful conversation happening.
And that's all it is.
You'll get better and better on sharing yourself, sharing
our stories.
And sharing our stories.
Yeah, and I'm, you know, and speaking about, you know, speaking our truth. I'm writing a book about speaking the truth.
Okay.
And you know, and this is the time in the day and age where, you know, all of the internet, there's so many channels for you to just be who you are.
Thank God for the internet.
But do not forget about your craft. Please. I have a Western sensibility.
Hallelujah.
I don't like to be bored. I want to be I want to be you know, I want a transcendent experience in your art form. So do not forget about your craft.
Thank you, Brian, for reminding us of that. Now, Kim, what would you like to remind the audience about today's show that you'd like for them to take home?
Well, just that we are living in an incredibly exciting age where there's so much new information that's coming into our sphere of influence, because we can just receive so much more today. And I think that we collectively are actually rewriting the story of humanity. And we have the chance to make it a beautiful story.
And you know, Don Miguel Ruiz says the same thing. He says that we need to wake up from this collective nightmare of hell that we've created and dream a new dream. And we at Divine Love Talk, we are weaving a new dream. And thank you for joining us today on Divine Love Talk on CRN with Dr. Parthenia Grant at drparthenia.com, Dr. Sarah Larsen at drsarahlarsen.com, Kim Michaels at transcendenceToolbox.com, and Brian Reeves,
managingthemagic.com.
And be sure to join us at the World Interfaith Harmony Film Festival.com. Look for us on Facebook, and I will be posting links and information. Students will be given a discount for showing up. We want the young people out there. You're the movers and the shakers. You are our future. Thank you. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Yay.